Greetings. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Feel free to hashtag my name if you like, and or my channel. If you want stickers like that, you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 169 Cloverleaf Drive, Longs, South Carolina 29568, or come and meet me on the beach here. It's a beautiful place. This is North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier. Done a lot of broadcasts and recordings out here. What I wanted to talk about today specifically is the approaching storm and the Mark of the Beast system, the beast of mentioned in the book of Revelation, and how artificial intelligence relates to that. The beast system is all around us. The system of control of the media, largely, and the digital commerce that's going on, high-frequency trading, all of that. Looks like the sun is peeking through right there. It's approaching us on this stationary level Earth. I've had an opportunity to capture the beauty of the sun being in the midst of the clouds. On many occurrences, you can hashtag local sun to actually see that, if you care to. So artificial intelligence is smarter than people, not smarter than God. The God I'm talking about is the one who wrote the Bible. At least from Genesis to Revelation. The book of Enoch had real favorable mention by Jesus himself, and then the book of Jude. Suffice it to say, people need to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. All of God's children will. Who are they? I don't know. They may even be practicing Satanists right now. It's not for me to know. I'm just here to hand out the invitation for eternity to examine yourself and seek the truth with all your heart to see if you actually have been born of God's Spirit. I thought that happened to me a long time ago, over 35 years ago. 1982, actually. That's when I thought it happened. I cried, repented, was fully immersed, baptized, put a suit on, went to church in Corpus Christi, Texas. I was raised Catholic. I was an altar boy, baptized as an infant. None of that meant I was born again. Of course, God's children were conceived in His mind before the foundation of the world, according to His Word. I'm speaking of the living Word, the living water, the great I Am, the Alpha and Omega, Yahweh, Yeshua. There's Greek references, Hebrew references, and then, of course, most of humanity would know Him right now as Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life, took up flesh, dwelt among us, to remove ambiguity. There's a spiritual smorgasbord that humanity is dining on. I'll have a little of this, a little of that. I want to do my own thing. A lot of people are pretty ticked off that they've been lied to on epic proportions and want to figure this whole God thing out for themselves. Well, it's going to require divine intervention to get that. Just so you know. It's only by God's grace anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So we're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. At some point in the human experience, the child of God will absolutely be born of His Spirit. That's for sure, and that's forever. Got a lot of humidity in the air this morning, especially down the coast there. I'll just zoom in a little bit. It's one of the reasons why we can't see other continents. Can't see more than a mile right now or two. The Myrtle Beach skyline is viewable right underneath the pier here. I've got many occurrences of that in low humidity conditions. I use the artificial intelligence to do a lot of what I do. I'll show that to you right now. Part of it is right here in front of you. Let me clear my screen. So that's the wallpaper on my lock screen. You can call me anytime if you like to. This is the Tides Near Me app. I'm going to go ahead and cue this up. We're at the Cherry Grove inside. Those are the numbers right now. Those are the numbers for the day. You can check it out if you care to. It's an effective app. Now I can see the hard light of the sun punching through the clouds right there. Job 37 proclaims the sun is in the midst of the clouds. Since NASA has been proven to be lying about the moon landing and other astronomical mentions and adventures into space, as in Elon Musk moving to Mars, landing booster rockets back down, that's all theater, that's all science fiction, launching cars into space. It's ridiculous, just so you know. This camera will zoom in tight enough to see moon craters, fine detail. The moon is very close, so is the sun. We live in a contained environment, enclosed environment. The firmament, you can check it out. That's the reference in the Genesis account in the King James Version. I like to listen to the New International Version much of the time because it's modern communications. I actually am born again, and that happened to me because of God's grace, not because of the translation necessarily I was listening to, although I listened to the Bible pretty much, either listened to and or meditated on scripture around the clock for years. And I still do. Listen to the Bible at night while I'm sleeping. I find the book of Revelation fascinating. All the mentions in scripture of the revealing of who God is, who we are, what we should look like when we're actually born again, and why much of humanity is walking dead people and they don't know it. I was a walking dead man and did not know it. Even though I worked at a full-time ministry, Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin. I mentioned Nina yesterday. I misstated that. We've got the shadow reflection in the light beam. It's kind of interesting. We all have our unique individual perspective on what we see around us, how we see this life. I'm going to zoom in on the sun and then just pan on down a little bit. You can see the end of the pier on the right, the beginning of the pier not so much. We can see the light through there a little bit better. Those are all some of the limitations of our optics. We can't see through much water. Water covers the face of the earth as a natural level. It's seeking its level throughout the day, throughout the night, all over the face of the stationary earth. The firmament that covers the face of the earth is a structure that separates the waters above from the waters below. The Genesis account of the Great Flood had 3 water sources mentioned: the floodgates of heaven, the fountains of the deep, and God caused it to start raining as well. What you're looking at would look way different if the sun was 93 million miles away. It would light up the whole thing, the whole view, not just that little localized view of the sun in the clouds, just so you know. Plus, there's a bigger problem with the spinning globe, and I'm going to show you right now. I call it beams. That's the upside down world that exists only in the imagination. So not only can we not find the 8 inches per mile squared that we should find if we lived on a sphere, a water sphere of 25,000 miles in circumference, the upside down world in relationship to one another exists only in the imagination. Years ago I started making beams by inverting the camera. Lost some friends on that, or acquaintances on social media. They didn't think it was right for me to show people that. Oh well. That's where the spinning water sphere leads to, is that the official story, according to NASA, is there's upside down people in relationship to one another. That's not even possible. A wind chime can't hang upside down. Water will pour out of its container. All the water in the world exposes the impossibility of the globe. The water we shower with, use the restroom, or relieve ourselves in the great outdoors. Water heavier than buoyancy, B-U-O-Y-A-N-C-Y, heavier than falls, lighter than floats. So the water in front of us is more dense than the air around it. That's why it sticks to the surface. The lighter than, when it evaporates, we notice that the moisture evaporates off of water and then condenses when the temperature differential is just right, and then we'll get precipitation. So we've got condensation, we've got evaporation, condensation, and then precipitation in all its forms: rain, snow, sleet, fog. We've got respiration, water coming out of us; transpiration, water coming out of the plants; perspiration, water coming out of us. That water should be clean. That's why I drink highly purified, reverse osmosis, carbon filtered water, and I like to put it in the sun. It's part of the natural process. The sun will magnify the light of the sun enough through the water. The water will magnify the light enough to cause combustion. I've done it. Caught grass on fire, cardboard on fire with the magnified light. It's a natural magnifier as well. You can check it out. Test it if you want to. Do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? It depends on the temperature. The temperature changes the volume and density of water. When I take a gallon of room temperature water, from our house is about 70 degrees, put it in the sun, have it in a sealed container, the water goes out over the top. About an ounce in the temperature rise during the day. It'll rise to approaching 120 degrees in the sun. And then when it cools down, and I've got it in the house, there's about an ounce obviously missing from that gallon, and a vacuum that's been placed on the water, or I should say the air that's in the missing space. It's a vacuum. You can test it out. I've got a real tightly sealed jug that works great for that. If you heat up water enough, you get steam. You can heat it up with solar, coal, natural gas, and move turbines. The water seeking its level at hydroelectric power plants through dams, waterfalls, all of that generates electricity that powers the world. The artificial intelligence can interrupt the power generation and distribution anywhere that God allows it. Remember, artificial intelligence is powerful, regulating the distribution of electricity and information all around the world. Got a document called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, narrated on my channel. Got a lot of powerful content that covers this, a wide variety of topics. I weigh in on artificial intelligence, even though there's very talented, world-recognized media journalists that have covered this. I'm covering it a little bit deeper and alerting you to the reality that God is still large and in charge. That's the answer. J Tuck, I've reached out to him on Twitter, and he did a brilliant explanation at the TED conferences. Ideas worth sharing. I've got it on my channel. And one of the realities of this, he's looking for what's his job was to alert us. And now our job is, what are we going to do about it? God is still sovereign, meaning he's in charge of everything. I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart, because no matter how many of these conspiracy realities you're able to determine, you've got to be born again to even see the kingdom of heaven. The fact that I was set free from a life of addiction and self-effort is a powerful evidence of the reality of God. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is another powerful evidence of the reality of God. The most powerful evidence is the resurrection. Now, the fact that God is evident within his creation is more powerful evidence. Prophecy and fulfillment, the foretelling of future events, very powerful. The fact that even though many would say the Bible isn't a science book, it's exposing the reality of the world we live in, and it's far different than we're being told by the self-enthroned experts in the scientific community promoting a godless cosmic Big Bang. There you go, the sun in the clouds, in the midst of, slicing through, as I've captured it time and time again. Wow, blows my mind. It's like a laser beam cutting across the face of the stationary Earth. Stationary and level Earth. There would be no level anywhere in a world that was moving. I'll set a level down on my window ledge in the room, watch the reflection of the light out of the water basin by the window. That moves, the bubble does not move. The wind moves, the water moves, the people move, the information moves, the truth moves, all over the face of the stationary Earth. I meet people high up in information technology, cybersecurity. I meet them right on the beach. I meet people that work in the Department of Defense, DARPA, working on automated autonomous weapons. Hello. They said they were. They couldn't tell me exactly what they did. Now we can see the illustration of the humidity. The people that are reflecting off the beach, reflecting on their lives, past, present, future, memorials, births, anniversaries, weddings, divorces, new lives, tragedies, all over. Human sacrifice has been going on for a long time. It happens in the form of abortion. It happens in the form of ritual satanic abuse. I cover it. I'm outing it. The whole corrupt system. It's been going on for a long time. As in the days of Noah, so would it be at the coming of the Son of Man. We're looking at turtle rescuers, one sporting a baby. How adorable. I'm here to rescue everybody that I can, in that I'm wanting to alert you to the reality of the situation that we live in. It's a wicked system all around us. It takes less than a day to hear the entire New Testament and less than 77 hours to hear the entire Bible, or at least what we're told from Genesis to Revelation. I've done it many, many times because it matters for eternity. Where will you spend eternity and why? Think about it. People fishing. I'm fishing too, using digital, worldwide, instantaneous, portable communications. Good morning.
Good morning.
You'll see it on my channel if you like. That's a waterproof sticker. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Welcome, welcome. I've got a recording going on now. You'll see it in a couple hours when I put it up there if you like.
Have you seen the documentary Serengeti?
Not yet. I'll check it out.
Sunrise kind of looks like the intro to that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll take a look at it.
Sounds good. Serengeti sounds like an interesting documentary. So from this vantage point, we get the shadow reflection, pretty mysterious. I've got some friends out there surfing right now. Of course, the upside down world exists only in the imagination. Just dropping the lens down a little bit and they'll virtually disappear. We've got large waves out in the ocean. That's one of the reasons why ships apparently vanish over the horizon. You can check it out if you like. Depending on wind direction and humidity, we'll see the sky clear. We'll see a lot more of the horizon. This is a south-facing pier, south-facing beach. You can look at the contour of it. I suspect we'll probably have a big storm either hit us directly or glance on by us this year. I call it weather wars. Imagine if you had a system that you could control the weather and the stock market and the fuel distribution and logistics of worldwide production and where things are actually made and the distribution of information to cause people to make choices with their finances. Oh wait, the beast system does all that. Artificial intelligence does that. Now God is still all powerful and all knowing. So all of this system works within the context of what God allows. Just so you know, God is still large and in charge. God's sovereignty. You can look at it, check it out. The sovereignty of God. He doesn't leave the determination of who his children are up to us. It's up to him. Of course, the gospel is foolishness to those that are perishing, according to Scripture. Also, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So they're going to believe the lie they want to believe, apparently. I'm going to zoom in on my friends here. Looks like they're going to get a ride. Not this time. Hopefully soon. I'd like to shoot it. I've got about a minute left in this recording. But it does illustrate just dropping the lens down. I'll do that once again and show you what happens. It happens on a much larger scale with big waves. The tide moves all around the face of the stationary Earth. There's a relationship between the sun, moon, stars, and the seasons. In the summer, the sun comes up way over in the middle of the view there. In the winter, it comes up over there. I've got visual evidence recorded on my channel. You can check it out if you care to. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. I really appreciate that.